right. Well, welcome to Patriots Corner with Dr. Hill Law, where we explore perspectives on today's current issues, examining the facts and principles that shape our viewpoints weekly. And then on this week, I wanted to go over a couple things. While this was a very historic week as far as it went for the Trump administration and a step to hopefully forwarding and seeing peace in the Middle East, this weekend has been a pretty slow news wise, anyways. Yesterday, there was a homegrown terrorist attack in Palm Springs, California, on a fertility clinic. The attacker was a far left, and one of the reasons he gave for his attack in his manifesto is that he was not happy because he was not given a choice on whether he wanted to be brought into this world or not. So he decided to attack a fertility clinic that brings people into the world. Now, as we can see, what happens when you create a generation of kids who believe they are all winners and should have the input into any decisions that go even when they're in children. I mean, it's insane that this is what they're doing. So, I mean, this is what we're left with. I mean, when we've created the side that we've created, that this kid decides to make a terrorist attack because he felt like he wasn't given a choice to be brought into this world. I mean, really, it's not your parents didn't know they were bringing you into this world. They didn't know who they were or weren't bringing in. So, I mean, come on. That makes no sense that that's what it was. That's just beyond it's beyond the pale. I mean, it makes no sense to me at all. But yeah, so I'm trying to figure out why earlier I was able to get my YouTube going on this, but not my Facebook. It shows I'm streaming on Rumble. It doesn't show me streaming on YouTube. Go to create, go live. All right. Streaming subject. Excellent. Breaking news. See if it'll go back on here. But I don't know. I'm trying to test this out. Alrighty, there we go. Now YouTube is live 4 minutes in. Sorry, YouTube, if you missed the beginning of the introduction for Patriots Corner with Dr. Hill Law. I was just kind of talking about how the last week was a very historic moment for the Trump administration and hopefully peace in the Middle East. And then also how a homegrown terrorist decided to bomb a fertility clinic in California. And in his manifesto, he said one of the reasons he did it is because, well, nobody gave him a choice on if he wanted to come into this world or not, which makes no sense at all. So then on Saturday evening, we had a Navy ship that crashed into our New York bridge, the Brooklyn Bridge in New York. 19 injured, 2 in critical condition, 2 that did pass away. So that was according to Mayor Adams' last statement on the last interview they had, and also they have NTSB Go team out there ready to go. So that's that. All right, it does show me live on all 3 platforms. Good. All right, so I've got everything going. Okay, but yeah, I'm sorry. This has been kind of a funny show. It's because I'm just learning how to use this Rumble software. So, and like I said earlier, this is what happens when you create a generation of kids that believe they're all winners and should have the input into decisions that involve their life, even when they're little babies. I mean, like the parents knew that he was going to be born a boy or a girl, even who he was going to be. So one of the weekend's top stories, though, was what we learned from Maria Bartiromo's interview with FBI Director Kash Patel and Assistant FBI Director Dan Bongino. Director Patel told the truth about how the FBI had handled the Hillary Clinton email investigation, which shows the political bias entrenched in the FBI under the previous 2 directors. Also, how FBI Director James Comey selectively decided which cases to prosecute and which not to prosecute, which does not follow their constitutional duties. Also, Patel announced a bombshell in that the FBI found additional details regarding the Crossfire Hurricane investigation into President Donald Trump's alleged ties to Russia and is working with Congress to put out information surrounding that information. Director Patel stated that's how vindictive, ambitious the foreign leadership structure was. Not only did they bastardize the FISA process in light of the American public, they withheld and hid documentation and put it in rooms where people weren't supposed to look. I mean, it's insane. Director Patel also said that it's a good thing that we are here now to clean it up. And in about a week or two, we will see a wave of transparency, which is what most Republicans have been waiting for. I can only say to my listeners that I told you so. It takes time. We will start finally seeing action soon. I have a feeling that the documents released are going to expose so much of the less weaponization of the justice system against President Trump and Republicans, they won't be able to say anything else about if he charges start seeing charges come down on Democrats. Another thing I want to make a comment on was earlier. I had earlier I'd gotten a comment on from a person in my TikTok live, and she left because she said, "Oh, I thought you were different than other people because I said that I wouldn't. I didn't think that they'd be taken to Gitmo." Okay, Gitmo is a place where foreign terrorists are taken to be held, not a former Congress member, a former first lady. At the most, they will be put in a federal prison. Whether we feel like they should suffer for more or not, that's not going to happen. They will go to and that's another thing on my podcast. Well, here on Facebook, now that I'm doing on Facebook right now, I don't know how far I can go. But as far as YouTube and Rumble go, while I will definitely cover more stuff than I cover on TikTok because I'm not as controlled, I'm not going to go into far right conspiracy theory stuff. It's just not going to happen. I mean, if we want to talk about aliens, the furthest I will go is yes, I believe they exist. I'm not going to go into all the other stuff. Oh, they've been here, blah 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 blah, all that. No, I mean it's just scientifically, it's impossible that there's not another intelligent life out there. When you think of all of the worlds and everything, then some people say, "Oh, that proves God doesn't exist." No, it doesn't. That actually even proves more that there's a higher power. So that's up to them. But hopefully, next time I do this, I will be able to get a full episode through without having any mistakes or hiccups because I will know that I'll have my uh all my stuff running and all that. So let me hold on a second. So as far as what I was talking about in the minute goes, I got my script coming back here. But no, that's why does it keep on get my scroll position because this is not okay. All right. And national patel. I already talked about that. Hey. Alrighty. Okay, on another major revelation that came out this weekend was the audio tape from the special counsel interview of President Biden covering the investigation of his handling of classified materials showed that our country didn't have a competent president at the helm for the last 4 years, considering he couldn't even remember when his son passed away. It also exposes the lack of transparency of the Biden administration compared to how transparent the President Trump's administration is. Now, as we learn more and more about how sinister the cover up was of President Biden's cognitive ability during his 4 years as president, a picture begins to form that even Biden's cabinet didn't trust Kamala Harris enough to invoke the 25th Amendment and place her in the presidency. Considering the lack of cognitive functioning of Biden was why the 25th Amendment was ratified. That's why we created it. But yet she says that she lost because of racism and everything else. No, you lost because not even Biden's cabinet trusted you to take over his presidency. If your closest allies do not trust to put you in the presidential position, how do you expect the American people to trust you and to elect you? It makes no sense. That's why she didn't get elected. It had nothing to do with her being a woman. It had nothing to do with her being the color of her skin or the race or where she's from had to do with it. She was not made for the position. She shouldn't have been there. She was only put as a vice president because they wanted DEI in there, and that she is the reason she lost, and that even President Biden's people couldn't show the that they trusted her enough. That was why she lost. And so, in that which it that even starts to draw an even bigger picture of how the country and the world were allowed to fall into such disarray in near all-out World War III, considering the most powerful nation did not even have a cognitively functioning president who was capable of leading at the time. Now, maybe he was capable of leading this country 10, 20 years ago, but he wasn't when he ran for office, and he sure as hell was not whenever he was actually in office. Okay, so now I'm into my first segment. If anybody wants to please ask any questions, please go ahead and leave them in the chat. I am going to take just a quick break for a second, give everybody a chance if they want to ask questions. Also, please like, follow, subscribe, and also any gifts or donations. I have my subscriptions set up through local for YouTube for Rumble, since I do not have enough people on my YouTube yet to start doing subscriptions through them. Also, if you go to my profile, you'll see my Linktree link in there. That will take you to my Linktree, which has all of my other social media platforms. Please give me a follow on there, because I do the Patriots Corner on here. I do my live streams on TikTok, and also on TikTok and Clapper. I am also, once I get enough subscribers, looking to do financial literacy and credit repair courses. So let me know, and I can, I'll get you go on there and sign up or subscribe. I'll start running those courses. Also, I have background in real estate development, specialize in affordable housing, which is why I decided to go for my doctoral degree in law and policy, because I literally do with city, state, federal level policy and regulate law and the regulation every day. Usually I would use the break in my segments to let anybody ask questions, or if I had any people in here. I honestly don't even see where it's showing me if I have people in here, because it says I had one participant of, I guess I had 9 okay, wired. So it supports up to 9 participants. All right, waiting room, nobody. So I guess there's nobody in here right now. But all right, so now in the second segment, I was just going to take a look at other breaking news from over the weekend. As I had said earlier, kind of went ahead of myself. Saturday evening, a Mexican naval ship crashed into the Brooklyn Bridge, and the NTSB Go team is on location investigating what happened, with which cost at least 2 people their lives. At the latest update, the report was that the ship had lost power and then ran into the bottom of the bridge. And of the 277 on board, 19 sustained injuries, 2 of which remain in critical condition. And it was, like I said a minute ago, and 2 more have sadly passed away from their injuries. And this was according to Mayor Adams of New York's last update that he gave. Also, this weekend, Vice President J.D. Vance and Secretary of State Marco Rubio, well, actually, I think this wasn't this weekend, this earlier this week, had met in Rome with President Zelensky of Ukraine to discuss more of the peace deal. And I'm guessing to schedule a date for President Trump to meet with both him and President Putin, because he just kind of, well, he values his people that have been working on these negotiations a lot, and that they've done a good job. It's just not something they can make he has to be the one that makes the decision. So he's tired of the runaround. He's about to just meet with them himself so he can hopefully get this ironed out and get it done. Because like he said, there's 5,000 young people dying a day. We need to get this stopped. The Ukraine war needs to end. And everybody's like, well, Ukraine should get to keep everything. Well, do you want to go up against one of the world's largest nuclear powers, I mean, come on, nobody thought you would have lasted this long. Much Most people didn't give Ukraine like a week or 2 before they had been taken over. We're 3 years they have survived. So to hold off one of the world's largest nuclear powers for 3 years is a pretty big feat. If you lose a little bit of territory, that's a in reality, that's a win. I mean, obviously, to some people there, it would be a total loss, but it's like, do you keep on fighting till you lose everything and you lose more lives? Or do you come to a amicable deal, maybe not exactly what you want, but better than what you would get if you lose everything? That's where it's at this point. So the question is, what is Zelensky ready to do? Does he want to keep trying to fight a winless war where he could end up eventually losing his whole country? Or would he rather lose maybe a little bit of land and get to keep his country? I mean, because that's where we're at. It's ridiculous. Now, also a Trump aligned group, the American First Legal Foundation, AFL, filed a federal complaint in Washington, D.C., that aims to dismantle what it calls outdated and illegal effort to promote diversity in federal hiring that sidelines more qualified candidates. This is a 44-year-old consent decree that stops the Trump administration from making hiring decisions based on merit and not on whether immutable and versus making them on immutable characteristics. Now, if we want to stop the division and the divisiveness in our country, we have got to start judging people by the content of their character and not by the color of their skin, which merit based hiring allows. We are all children of God, and until we start treating each other like that and start ensuring that qualifications and skills take precedence in all aspects of life, we won't see anything get better. We have to stop living in the past and raising a generation in which one half believes they are guilty for something that their great great grandparents did, and that they're still somehow oppressing the other half, and the other half then believes that they are never good enough and that they are always being oppressed and that they don't have an equal chance, when in reality they do. It's in their head. It's all here. It's the left's new form of racism. It's the left's new form of segregation. It's the left's new form of keeping them down. Because people forget the Democratic Party is the party of Jim Crow. The Democratic Party is the party of slavery. The Republicans are the party of Abraham Lincoln. The Republicans are the party of the Emancipation and Proclamation. The Republican Party is the one who fought to get rid of the Jim Crow laws. All right, so people forget that. They forget their history. They like to rewrite it and make it like there was some big switch in the parties. No, there wasn't. All right. There was no switch in the parties. That's the way it is. And until everyone knows that they are the same as the person next to them, and they only thing that separates them is how hard they work to get where they want, then until that happens, it won't get better. Once everybody can understand that the only thing that stops you from succeeding and becoming better is never giving up and trying and pushing harder, then our country will be better. Because our country right now is more divided than it was when I was in school. Okay, I didn't grow up with a lot of money. I didn't grow up as white privilege. My family, I didn't inherit land. My family, I grew up with a single mother, 2 kids, no college degree, working 2 to 3 jobs to get by. Couldn't even get welfare because she wasn't the right race. Didn't qualify or never got approved because she wasn't the right race. So we struggled our butts off. Every statistic says I should have never I should be in prison, dead, or working flipping burgers. But I never gave up. I never gave in and managed to end up being the first person in my family to get a master's degree, and now working on getting my doctorate, and will be the first person in my family to get my doctorate degree. So you can break the cycle. You can beat the statistics. You just have to believe in yourself. You just have to not be scared. You have to keep pushing. When you fall down, you get back up and you keep going. You don't give up. Giving up is the only thing that stops you from meeting your dreams. Now, obviously, if your dreams are just out there, like, okay, you want to be a famous singer, but you're not a good singer, obviously, there's nothing anybody can do for you there. but within realistic goal lines, you can make it out of poverty and make it into a decent life, get a good, decent job or career, making good money. May not be in what you love or wanted to do, but such is life. May not be in what you'd picture yourself in doing, but such is life. You have to adapt. You have to push. I mean, I drove trucks for 12 years before I finally went to the military. I dropped out of high school 2, 3 times, finally got military, got me my high school diploma, then didn't start college until I was in my mid 30s, but managed to finish my bachelor's degree with a double major in finance and economics and a master's degree in less than 6 years. It'll be less than took a year and a half off before I started on my doctorate. So you can do it. You can become somebody better. But our country is so divided right now where one side doesn't trust the other, because that's why we have to stop this division and work together. It would be easy right now for a foreign adversary to come into our country and destroy us at the moment, because each side believes that the other side is always lying and that their truth is the only truth, when that is not the case. We have to learn to trust each other. We have to learn to work together again, to reach across the aisle to get the hard things done. That if we don't, Friday's downgraded credit rating from Moody's will not be the last, considering we can't pass a balanced budget and can't cut the programs where we need. We can't make our Congress can't get those hard decisions made. That's why they downgraded our budget, because we keep on passing these continuing resolutions versus full budgets, and we keep driving up the deficit and we keep driving up the debt. I'm sorry to the Democrats, but socialism doesn't work. Look at Venezuela. Unless we want our dollar, the American dollar, to no longer be the main currency of the world and be worth nothing and end up like Venezuela, we can't give everybody free crap. It just doesn't work. There's not enough money, because there's too many people who believe they are owed free money or that they are owed reparations, and they won't work. For your socialism to work, everybody has to work. Everybody has to have a job. Everybody has to contribute. And with the fallousness of people and not being perfect, that will never happen. So quit pushing socialism. Quit trying to rob from one person quit trying to rob Peter to pay Paul. I'm sorry, we can do stuff to try to help people, to help them get a leg up in life. But if they don't want to accept that help to get up to where they can get better job training, get an education, get a job, then let them do what they want. They want to live on the streets, let them live on the streets. But we're not going to keep paying money to people who won't try, who won't give it a chance. Now, understand people that have mental or physical abilities that stop them from working, which physical, that's pretty much nil today. Because, I mean, there's so many jobs today you can do sitting in a wheelchair. There's so much technology out there that even most of the people that used to be the disabilities that used to stop them from being able to work doesn't stop you anymore. So unless they're just too mentally challenged to do it or too old, we got to make them work. Because the problem is right now is we have so many people that make little money. They call them taxpayers, but they're not, because they get rebates back in taxes of more than what they paid in. That's why we need to go to a flat tax. So everybody pays a specific percentage of the taxes. Now, to the left, it says, oh, the rich should pay more. They should pay their fair share. That's what Trump just did with tariffs. He's making the rich pay their fair share. Oh, but it's a tax on the consumer. What, you don't think business taxes get passed down to the consumer? Come on, American people. Use your brain. Think. That's how little your Democratic Congress members think of you. They actually say that they actually use that as a talking point, because they actually think that that's how little you pay attention out and how ignorant you are, that you don't even know that business taxes get passed down as a consumer tax. Because I can promise you they do. Whether it's they pass it down to the consumer in cost of products, or they don't hire as many people, or they don't offer as many benefits, or they don't pay as much. Either way, it gets passed down to the little guy. What's the old saying? All shit rolls downhill. That's what happens. It rolls downhill. There's nobody that is going to get not affected by something. All right. So it's funny how the left sits there and pushes for tax hikes, but at the same time is against tariffs. They're literally the same thing. The tariffs are just on before the business gets them. So I don't know what's going on. I just don't get it. So yeah, it's hilarious that the lefts. Sorry, I had a phone call come in there. So had the wife calling, but yeah. So I mean, that's Trump's been trying to do this. That's what he's trying to do through Doge. Is he's trying to cut. He's trying to lean out the government. He's trying to get rid of positions that can be replaced by technology. So we're not spending all this money. So we don't have to cut the benefits as much. If he can save $1-2 trillion through taking eight, like DHS had 34 HR departments. Why not have one HR department? Why does not DHS, but HHS has, why do they need 34 departments for HR? They don't. They need one. Computer and AI can take care of most of it. There's so much now that if our government would actually upgrade the technology in all the departments, we could eliminate a lot of the jobs. But of course, a lot of Democrats and a lot of Congress members have said, "Hey, if you elect me, I'll make sure to keep you a job in such and such. I'll get you a job in government employee." I'm sorry, but we have got to quit doing that. We have got to take it back. We cannot keep spending like this. We cannot keep just printing money. Printing money is not come from just nowhere. It's not an endless thing. It doesn't grow on trees. That's not how economics works. So we have got to get back to not spending so much. That's why we have got to get control of our immigration. This illegal immigration is costing us trillions of dollars that we can't afford. We can't even afford to take care of our own people right now, much less people who are coming here. So we've got to get rid of it. But I'd like to thank anybody for listening. Sorry that this one was kind of a weird, wasn't a solid, had a bunch of breaks and stuff in it. Was not a solid live because, like I said, this is the first time I have used Rumble Studio to stream across multiple platforms, because it allows you to do 3 platforms versus having to pay. Most of the paid ones allow you to do 2 platforms for free, and then you have to pay to get the 3. And since I've got 3 kids and a wife, I mean, one of the reasons why I'm doing this is because I'm trying to monetize and make extra money. I need to save all I can. So I just had to make sure that this was working. And it was confusing me at first because it didn't look like the microphone was working right and stuff. And then how to get wanted to ensure that Facebook had started. Then I had to get live. It started through YouTube. So thank you for anybody that hung with me. And I can promise you next time this will be a more fluid, straight through podcast. Please always comment, like, follow, let me know what you think. Any constructive criticism, and I am open to. If you're going to do insults and stuff, I'm not going to pay attention. Constructive criticism, I will take. But thank you for watching. And again, this is Dr. Hill Law with Patriots Corner. And have a great Sunday.